Everybody, thanks for watching. So now with the recent racial tension, and I shouldn't say recent, has been racial tension in America, for a long time, since slavery. But a lot of people, because of what's been taking place with the protests, a lot of people, again, are getting caught up in the rhetoric, the bullshit that racist people say about African Americans, about the history in this country involving slavery. And a lot of people don't understand, again, what took place. And I talked about this before in a previous video. Briefly, I got into it. But people need to understand slavery. And it comes down to a matter of people accepting what took place in the past and understanding that it was wrong, it happened, and nothing you say or the way you feel about it is going to change the past. But you need to understand that because it happened, it affects the way African Americans live today. And it's just a big problem right here because it happened so long ago. People don't want to accept the fact that racism still exists, that we still deal with it, and they don't want to believe that something that happened hundreds of years ago can affect people still to this day when there's too much proof to prove it. There's too many things to show that it does and it has, and the main thing being the fact that we keep seeing racism pop up in and out of the society, in and out of the media. So many different places we see racism keep popping up. So it's a matter of people accepting that and saying that, okay, yeah, because of slavery, this exists, this happened, and people are acting on prejudices that existed for a long time and are able to influence people without knowledge to believe in these ideologies and all of these misconceptions about what took place back then. So you have most people, just like, when the issue comes up about, cops killing black people, they always run to, what about black on black crime? People always run to slavery, and they always use the excuse that somehow African people deserve to be enslaved because there were Africans who sold Africans into slavery. That's a fact. But again, when you go do research on that, that was not widespread. That wasn't the case in every instance. Every single African that was sold into slavery was not sold by an African. And the fact that, one, we can prove now it wasn't the millions of Africans like they say it was. We know it wasn't that many. Maybe they have an estimate of around maybe 500,000 or fewer actually came from Africa as far as Africans being in the Americas. When you pay attention, when you understand real history, one, we know African people was already in the Americas, was already in America before slavery. That's a fact, a proven fact. So we can't say that everybody came from Africa, but for the ones that did and the ones who was enslaved, because I said before, it doesn't make sense to bring all these people from Africa into America if it's about, money and free labor, when you could just enslave the so-called Native Americans. But the Africans who was selling Africans into slavery, this has to do with somehow, us deserving to be enslaved, Africans deserving to be enslaved. So to justify the whole thing, for them to not deal with the fact that this happened, they just say, well, Africans sold Africans into slavery. Y'all sold yourselves into slavery, and that's retarded. Now, white people sold white people into slavery. To use that kind of thought process and saying that somehow the Africans who spent hundreds of years in slavery, the Africans who endured and had to deal with the brainwashing and the murder and rape and torture that we have seen during slavery, they all somehow deserve it because a choice few of Africans sold other Africans into slavery. That's retarded. Using that same logic, you can say that the people who supposedly died in Las Vegas deserve to all die because another white man killed them. Using that same logic, you can say, well, all the white kids and the white people that died in the Oklahoma City bombing deserve to die because Timothy McVeigh was a white guy. So white people killed white people, so they deserve to somehow die because a white man killed them. All the white people that have been killed by white people deserve to die because there was another white man that killed them. If we're going to use the logic that somehow slavery is justified because Africans sold Africans into slavery, it's stupid. So you have that one. We can just get rid of that one. It's retarded. The logic is stupid. But then you have people going into Anthony Johnson, who supposedly was the first American citizen to own slaves, black man. And they love this one because you have a documented case of a black man, Anthony Johnson, going to court to basically keep his indentured servant in servitude for life, which, that supposedly happened. And you can't sit there and say that this is the first person to do something like this, because this is the first person that they put out as far as being documented as going to court to have to do so. But they stick to Anthony Johnson and say this is the first black man that owned slaves in America. How stupid can you be to believe that? So to say that he's the first person to own slaves in America, now this is for the stupid people, you would have to think that one, when they came over here with slaves, somehow this black dude had money and had it all set up to where he was buying slaves. That's bullshit. If they came to America and he was there, they would have enslaved his ass too. So he wasn't the first person to have slaves in America. But then you get people to say, well, he's the first person to legally have slaves. Oh yeah? How does that work out? Then they say he's the first American citizen to own slaves. Yet when he died, all of his property went to a white man because they said he wasn't a citizen. He had 300 acres that went to a white colonist because they said he wasn't a citizen of the colony. His property went to a white colonist. So how is he the first black man, the first African American, or the first American citizen to own slaves when they took his property? They said this man wasn't a citizen of the colony. He took his property. It's bullshit. This is stuff that only racist idiots want to believe, and they want to jump into and just try to put this on the whole hundreds and hundreds of years of slavery. They want to somehow put it all on Anthony Johnson and say slavery is somehow justified because that black man owned slaves. It's retarded. So it comes down to people taking responsibility of the truth, of the facts. When something is a fact, when it's true, you're supposed to accept it. Plain and simple. You ain't supposed to make up excuses and run from it. Truth is truth. No matter what you do, it's still going to remain a fact. It's still going to remain true. So it's up to people to accept what has taken place and either agree with it or disagree with it. If you didn't own slaves, what's the problem? If you're not contributing to white supremacy or trying to hinder black people from any kind of progress, what is your problem? If you're not racist, what is your problem? So when you speak out against a person speaking about slavery, because we're going to get a lot of racist people who are going to thumbs down this video and talk shit in the comment section, but what is the point? What are you mad at when we just talking about history? If you don't have a problem with it, because these same people who leave these comments are going to say, oh, I'm not racist, then what's the problem? If you don't agree with it, then don't agree with it. You can either choose to say something in your disagreement or not. You have the right to do whatever you choose to do. But at the end of the day, if you claim not to be a racist, you shouldn't be bothered about a person speaking about facts. If you disagree with it, then you should agree with what the person is saying. We had a lot of white people who contributed to civil rights and a lot of white people who did things because they didn't believe in what took place. So it's a matter of people really coming to terms with the fact that the effects of slavery is still alive and well. Racism is alive and well, and we have been seeing it, over the years. So the logic is crazy. And people say, well, your grandparents sold you into slavery. Your uncles and them sold you into slavery. That's stupid. And it doesn't matter who sold what. It's what happens after the fact. If a black man sells you a dog, he does not expect you to hang that dog from a tree or to set that dog on fire. That's illegal. You get locked up for stuff like that in America. But they was doing it to human beings, and somehow people just don't have a problem with it. Nobody is protesting and saying anything outrageous about what took place after slavery. So you can justify slavery all you want. You can't justify what took place after slavery when people was free and there still was lynchings and murders and black people being killed and hung in the streets, hung by trees. You can't justify that. It's nothing you can say. You have to come to terms to what has taken place and what people are dealing with and what people are speaking out about. We can't say all this stuff if we didn't see it and wasn't experiencing it. Plain and simple. So it's just crazy how people say the most outrageous stuff to try to justify their guilt and their hatred and their evil. because they know deep down what they're doing is evil and it's bad, it's wrong, and they try to justify it any way they can by sticking to these stupid stereotypes and these stupid lies about what took place during slavery. So you have people who are so clueless about history and what has taken place. People actually believe that this is somehow rightfully American land. This is stolen land. America is stolen. It is robbery. It's a crime. People should have back their possession. In court, things like this are rectified. When you have something stolen, you go to court. The court go through the facts, go through the process. Discovery is being found and presented. And you have all the information given to the court. And then a judge who is basing off morals, laws, truth, justice that they claim they stand under, then they go do the right thing. Okay, well, legally, this property belongs to you. And the plaintiff is given his property back and the defendant has to do so. But where's our property? Where's our land that's rightfully ours? Where's at least compensation for what we have endured over hundreds of years and still are feeling the effects of? So when black people say stuff about reparations and everything like that, oh yeah, you believe we don't deserve them? But if a motherfucker hits your car and destroy your car, guess where you going? You going to court. You ain't gonna say, you don't want to hear nobody saying to you, get over it. Your car destroyed, get over it. No, you want justice. You want something done because somebody set your house on fire. Of course you want to pay for it. All of your possessions is gone. Yeah, you want that to be rectified. But you don't want to hear nobody saying, well, that happened 5 years ago, get over it. No, I lost everything. I'm still trying to crawl back up after what happened, fix the situation. So when black people stand up and say, hey, we should be compensated, we want reparations, we want something to basically make us whole, to fix what we have endured and what we have lost in this country, white people say no, because they feel like it's going to come from out their pockets. Think about how much we put in your pocket. Wouldn't be no America, plain and simple, if it wasn't for black people. That's a fact. And yet, everybody seems to forget these things because it's been pushed under the rug and you have been brainwashed by the stereotypical bullshit from the racist biased media. That's all it is. Bullshit rhetoric, bullshit talk about what African Americans are doing and what you think we are and what you think we should be and everything like that. Again, these people are clueless to real history. But as soon as it comes to some kind of moral compass that they have or some kind of moral code that they believe in, they jump all on it, not understanding that the same applies to us and how we feel about what is ours. This land belongs to us, period. I don't care how racist you get or what you say, how many niggers you call me, that's a fact. And your own white scientists and white researchers have stated those facts as such. But this crooked government system will not, of course, grant the people what is rightfully theirs, or at least compensate them as to what they deserve. So don't give me bullshit about justice and freedom and righteousness and all that bullshit when you people are in possession of stolen property. So now I make videos like this, not to keep the topic going or to try to push separation or to try to keep bringing this stuff up and talking about race and making about race all the time. I bring this stuff up and keep talking about it because people need to know facts. Sometimes a person has one thought about something until you say something to them and completely change their mind, because you say things in truth and you connect the dots and you make sense and people accept it, because sometimes when information is taken in by people, it's not presented in an acceptable way to where they can comprehend what they're seeing. And then it's just things about the black community, of course, that white people just don't know about. It's things about our history that they have not been told, or they just not have come to the kind of, realization about the truths that happened during, our history. And when you put these things out there, a lot of them, they wake up. Now, me personally, if I didn't have so many white people personally email me and say how I changed their outlook on black people and how I changed them from a racist to a person that's, Black Lives Matter, that's pro Black Lives Matter or pro reparations or anything like that, because of the videos I put out. This is why I do this stuff. This is why I talk about it, because there are people who just want to understand. They want to know. And if I didn't have these people contacting me and sending me messages saying, thank you. I get a lot of messages from people who just wanted information, and they have only been gone by what the media has been putting out. And as I said, if that's all you're seeing, yeah, you're going to be a racist motherfucker. Yeah, of course. Because they show us in such a negative light. You couple that with hip-hop music and what we're seeing with twerking and, promoting, killing each other and everything like that, drug dealing and what have you, of course. If you don't understand Black history, understand what really takes place in the Black community, you're going to be swayed. And this is evident by the videos you see from people. There's a video that's circulating what Koreans think about Black folks. And listen to some of the answers they put out there. It was like, Black people are violent. A lot of people get this kind of misconception that we are all violent and this and that. And, we have these issues and we just want to destroy. But this is the image that's being put out there. It's not enough positive images of Black folks out there. And we need to see more of that. But people need to understand and know the facts about history. And again, it's just a matter of people being able to accept the truth and not feel any guilt about something their ancestors did or people did a long ass time ago. You have popes paying out billions of dollars, millions of dollars to kids that was molested, 10, 20 years ago. Do these people not deserve some kind of compensation to help them with what they have endured? No matter how much time passed, the fact remains, what happened to them happened to them.